Hi everyone, and welcome to the Summer Kids series. My name is Maria, and I work for Austin Wildlife Rescue. I know it's been hard staying at home, trying to learn online, and not being able to see your friends. But today, I have some new friends for you to meet. Would you like to say hi to them now? This is Tito and Tortellini, and they're both tortoises, which means they live on land, they don't swim, and their feet aren't webbed. Now, is there one more thing that these two have in common? There's a clue right there. They're eating it right now. So they're both actually herbivores, which means that they eat plants. These two primarily like grasses, leaves, and in Tortellini's case, even though he's enjoying his zucchini right now, they also really like prickly pears. What are some of the other things these two might have in common? They both have a hard outer shell, right? And it's to protect themselves from predators. Now here's a really crazy but cool fact. Their shell is actually made up from their fused rib bones. Isn't that cool? If you feel your ribs right now, right? You can feel when you touch them. And same goes for tortoises and turtles as well a lot of times. They're actually, here you go, here's another piece for you. They're actually pretty sensitive, and some of them actually really enjoy having a nice little scratch with a toothbrush. Now, what are some of the differences these two might have? Well, one is small, while the other one is quite a bit bigger, right? You think they're the same type of tortoise? We look at their coloring, the shape of their shell. Also, if we look at the detail on their arms and stuff like that, they look quite a bit different. And if we know they come from the two different geographic regions, they're probably not the same species. So in the case of Tortellini, he is actually our endemic Texas tortoise, which means he is native to Texas. Under the Texas law, Texas tortoises like Tortellini are actually a protected species, so they cannot be held as pets. That is why he is one of our animal ambassadors. Tito is a sulcata tortoise from the southern part of the Sahara Desert. Right now he's about close to 50 pounds, so he's quite hefty, and eventually he's going to double in size and weigh close to 100. As most tortoises, they live for a really long time, and he's going to live to about to be 100. Right now he's 15. His species is actually the third largest tortoise in the world. Now, how did these two come to Austin Wildlife Rescue, and what is it that we do? Well, Austin Wildlife Rescue helps injured, sick, and orphaned wildlife. Our goal is to release the animals back into the wild, and we answer questions from the public. Tito and Tortellini were likely somebody's pets at one point, and so they cannot be released back into the wild in case they bring any diseases back to the wild populations. So instead, they're well taken care of at our Rehabilitation Center over at Elgin. Everybody who works for Austin Wildlife Rescue is a natural scientist. Every day, they measure and record the weight of the animal, and that helps them determine how much food to give to them. They also diagnose illness and give medicine, and have thorough knowledge of food and care for each animal at different stages of their life. Wild animals belong in the wild. Can you tell me what these little ones are going to grow up to be? One has a stripe running from his head all the way down his back, and the other one has a little mask. I'll give you a second to think about it. Right, so one is going to grow up to be a skunk, and the other one is going to be a raccoon. And we need all of them. Every single one of them has an important role in the ecosystem. For example, a squirrel plants trees. Every fall, they collect pecans and acorns and put them in the ground and forget about them. And in the spring, we get trees growing. Raccoons, on the other hand, eat a lot of insects. And what about this animal over here? It has big ears. You usually see it flying at night. Does this help? Right, it's a bat. Well, bats every single night eat about 7,000 different insects, including mosquitoes, and help protect us from mosquito-borne diseases like Zika and malaria. Have you ever dreamt about traveling to Australia to meet the koala or the kangaroo? Well, you don't have to, because we have our own marsupial right here in Austin, the opossum. Marsupials are animals that feed their babies with milk, but have a special pouch where they grow big and strong. Little opossum joeys are only about the size of a jelly bean when they're born, so very tiny. While kangaroo's pouch is almost like a pocket, opossum's pouch is more like a drawstring purse. When the babies grow big, it really is not that uncommon for them to fall out, unfortunately. But opossum's moms are amazing though, and they can often seem carrying as many as 10 or more babies hanging onto their backs. A lot of people think that opossums are dangerous, but their biggest defense is just opening their mouth super wide, and if threatened, playing dead. Unlike human children, who can have up to 20 teeth depending how old they are, opossums have 50, which can make them seem scary, but they just want you to leave them alone. They are omnivores and eat both plants as well as meat and insects. Each summer season, they eat almost 5,000 ticks, and on top of that, are immune from rabies. If you see an opossum in your yard, let them pass peacefully. They are our North American marsupial superheroes. Most of us know animals like deer, foxes, ducks, but did you know that in Austin, we also have some very unique neighbors? For example, a ring-tailed cat. It's not actually a cat, but a relative of a raccoon. Ringtails are amazing climbers because they can rotate their back feet 180 degrees and have an amazing long tail to help them balance. They like to live in rocky areas, are nocturnal, which means they're awake at night, and sleep most of the day in their dens. What about a porcupine? Porcupines have about 30,000 quills on their body, but contrary to a popular myth, they cannot throw them. When they're born, their quills are soft and harden in a few days. Porcupines are nocturnal herbivores, which means that they're awake at night and like to eat plants. Who wouldn't like a midnight snack, right? Rock squirrel. In addition to the gray squirrels that we have in our backyards, Austin is also home to rock squirrels. They're quite rare to see because, like their name suggests, they like to hang out in very rocky areas. They have a marked light-colored ring around their eyes and pointy ears that project well above their heads, but their tails are not quite as bushy. Unlike gray squirrels that live in trees, rock squirrels dig complex burrows and live in colonies, but they're still excellent tree climbers. Did you know that Austin is also home to burrowing owls? We get quite a few different kinds of owls at Austin Wildlife Rescue. Barn and barred owls, big-horned and screech owls. But one that we're always happy to see is a tiny burrowing owl. They live in underground burrows they've dug themselves or taken over from other animals. Slightly larger than a screech owl, they have super long legs and they like to hunt on the ground. A cool thing about them is that they also like to plan ahead and often stow extra food to ensure an adequate supply during incubation and brooding, which is basically when their kids grow up. We have a small population over in the Austin airport. If you like owls, check out our Owl Parliament activity sheet. You can color and identify different owls, and be sure to go online and check out their different sounds as well. And I really hope you'll have a hoot. Now what can you do if you found an injured animal? Well, remember your ABCs. A, ask for help. Find a grown-up and ask them to help you. B, be safe. Your favorite grown-up will tell you if the animal is dangerous or the area is not safe. C. Call Austin Wildlife Rescue, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Now let's play a little game. Tito and Tortellini are pretty good at camouflage. If they put their paws in, they look almost like rocks, and it would be really hard to find them in the landscape. Now if we take a look at this picture, what do you see? Is this easier? Right, it's a little fawn. Deer moms will often leave their babies out in one spot all day long and come and nurse them in the evening. So if you see a fawn laying down in a safe area, it's okay to leave them. Their moms will come back. Now what about this one? It's blending into the trees. Right, it's an owl. More specifically, it's a screech owl, and they're really good at making themselves look almost invisible. Now, a really cool thing about owls is that their ears are uneven, and it helps them pinpoint the prey in the dark. That's why they're such great nocturnal hunters. We asked for some of your questions over Instagram, and I'm gonna answer a couple of them. How come we see so many female deer and few males? Well, males, called bucks, are quite solitary, versus females, called does, like to stick together. On top of that, they know that their babies are likely going to be safe near human areas from predators, and so that's why they leave them around our areas. Where do skunks, opossums, and raccoons, etc. hide all day? My dog never finds them. Well, most of these animals are nocturnal, or at the very least, crepuscular, and so they hide out during the day, especially when it's hot, in their burrows, in the trunks of trees, and also far away from human development. Now to review what we've talked about today. Can you tell me which animal plants trees? A squirrel, right? And which one eats a lot of the mosquitoes and keeps us safe? A bat, that's right. And do you remember your ABCs? What does A stand for? A is ask for help, B is be careful, and C is call Austin Wildlife Rescue. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope you've learned some new things and will help keep Austin wild.